What is up, guys? It's your boy Cobra here with my Resident Evil character tier list. Alright, let's take a look. First up, we have Heisenberg. Heisenberg from Resident Evil Village. This character was really interesting. I like the fact that he kind of went against the other characters in Resident Evil Village. He didn't like Mother Miranda very much. I thought that was a pretty cool storyline that he had, so I definitely like this character a lot. I would place Heisenberg. Oh man, this is tough. So we are gonna rank these characters from S tier all the way to F tier. So Heisenberg, I would place him. He's a pretty good villain. I'd place him in the B tier because he's not like a memorable villain. I mean, his boss fight is pretty cool when you fight that huge machine outside the factory in Resident Evil Village. He's a pretty good character. I'm gonna place him in a B ranking for now. Next up, we have Mia Winters. Mia, the wife of Ethan Winters from Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village. She's a pretty good character. I liked her more in Resident Evil 7, but she wasn't really involved in Resident Evil 8 or Resident Evil Village. She wasn't that much of an active character, I would say. So Mia Winters, I'm going to place her in the C tier because she wasn't that involved in Resident Evil Village. She was more involved in Resident Evil 7. Next up, we have Lady D. Lady Dimitrescu. One of my favorite villains in Resident Evil Village and all of the games. Her castle was simply amazing. It was a really great experience. I really enjoyed that part of the game, exploring the castle. The gameplay was amazing. I liked how they had her daughters and stuff come after you while you're searching the castle. The boss fight was simply incredible. I'm going to rank Lady D as an A character because I was slightly disappointed when they killed her off in the beginning of the game. I really wanted to see more of Lady D. I felt like Capcom could have kept her towards the end of the game. I would have liked to see her like as the final boss. Not somebody that was like killed off in the first part of the game. Next up, we have Carlos Oliveira from Resident Evil 3. Where would I place Carlos? He's a pretty good character. He assists Jill a lot. He's kind of like comes in on cutscenes, certain cutscenes, and like quick time events. He was working for Umbrella, and he was part of the extraction team that was like looking for survivors, but they were really kind of kind of trying to protect the G virus or T virus, G virus. He was trying to intercept people, so he wasn't he didn't really know why Umbrella sent him in there on his mission, but he turned out to be a good character and he really helped out Jill a lot. I'm gonna place he's more of a support character. I'm gonna place Carlos as a C character because he was not really he's pretty forgetful. Unless you're a big like RE3 fan, I do like RE3, but Carlos is a cool character, but he's okay, I guess. Next up we have Nemesis. Nemesis is a great boss. He's amazing in Resident Evil 3, the original, but the one thing I will say is I don't like Nemesis in the remake. And I explained that in my last video because I don't like Nemesis because he only comes out for cutscenes. He doesn't chase you around. He only appears when there's a cutscene and it's pretty lame. So I would place Nemesis, the new Nemesis, a C. But the original I'd place him as a B. Alright, next up we have Shiva Elamar from Resident Evil 5. She was the assistant to Chris in Resident Evil 5. She was pretty forgetful, not the best character. I'm gonna place her as a C, as I don't really remember too much about her in the game. That's how much important she was in the game. So yeah, I'm gonna place her as a C. Next up, we have Ada Wong. Ada is one of my favorite characters. I really wish they would explain her backstory more. There's not really much known about Ada in the games. I would like to know more about her, like her background. I wish Capcom would expand on that. Maybe we can get a game in the future that shows Ada's backstory. That'd be pretty awesome. But Ada as a character is really amazing. I really like her development. I'm gonna place her as an A tier character because she is amazing, amazing character. Next up, we have the Duke from Resident Evil Village. The Duke, he appears in certain areas to sell you weapons. He sells you like ammo. He tunes up your guns. He gives you like tips and stuff on the map. So he's a pretty good character. He's kind of like the merchant from Resident Evil 4, if you remember the merchant. He's like the updated merchant. I don't know if he's particularly related to the merchant or not. He could be possibly. I wish they would, maybe Capcom would let us in if maybe they're related somehow, because they both seem to be selling weapons in like odd places. I mean, who just hangs around an abandoned castle, right, selling weapons? You know, you figure he'd go to like somewhere where there's more people, right, to make like more money. But hey, that's the Duke. That's what he does. So as far as a character, I'm gonna place the Duke as a B because he is important. You do need to upgrade your weapons for him, and you do need to talk to him. So he's pretty important to the game. So therefore I will place the Duke as a B tier for now. Next up, we have. Wow, when you guys look at that, we have no S tiers and no Fs so far. This may be our first S tier character. Alright, Leon S. Kennedy. Leon S. Kennedy is my favorite character of Resident Evil franchise. Leon appears in Resident Evil 2. He's a rookie cop sent in on his first day of work, and he encounters the T-Virus in Raccoon City. Talk about a bad first day, right? So Leon S. Kennedy, definitely going to place him as S tier, as he is super important to the Resident Evil franchise. He's pretty much in almost every game. 2, 4, and 6. He's in like all the even number series games. Leon is an amazing character. I really wish they would delve more into his backstory. I know he went to like the police academy. He went to Raccoon City, and then after RE2, he went and joined the government. And that's where we find him on Resident Evil 4. He's like working for the president, and then he gets sent in Resident Evil 4 to save the president's daughter. So, Leon S. Kennedy, definitely an S tier character. Next up, we have. Let's see, Lisa Trevor. She is from Resident Evil 1. She's the girl that got experimented on. If you remember the Spencer Mansion, so the guy who created the big mansion from Resident Evil 1, his last name was Trevor. His name was George Trevor. He was given the money to build the mansion from Oswald Spencer, the founder of Umbrella. He called in George Trevor to create the mansion. He made all the trap doors and missing hallways. So once George Trevor was done, Oswald Spencer decided to kill him because he didn't want anyone to know the secrets of the mansion. And the way Oswald did it was really, really bad. He invited George Trevor's wife and daughter Lisa to the mansion to, it's supposed to be a celebration, but really they killed the whole family. Lisa was taken as prisoner and she was experimented on with the T virus. So that's how she became so mutilated. Um, and so she's very important to RE1. So I would place her. I place Lisa as a B character. Next up, we have Mother Miranda from RE8. She's the main boss of the game, Resident Evil Village 8. She's a really good boss fight. I would place her as a B. Next up, we have Albert Wesker. Albert Wesker, one of my favorite villains in the franchise. He is a villain of like Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's pretty much in the background, behind everything for the first 5 Resident Evil games. I would place him as A tier. The simple fact is he's a great character. I feel like he's involved in so many games, and everything kind of ties back to him as well. Next up, we have Chris Redfield. Can't talk about Albert Wesker without talking about Chris Redfield. Chris Redfield is the original protagonist from Resident Evil 1, which featured Jill Valentine, his partner, the first 2 original Resident Evil characters. Chris Redfield, he's also in Resident Evil Code Veronica. He comes in on later on down in the game where he goes to Rockford Island looking for Claire. So he's in that game, and then he disappears for a while. He comes back in RE5. Then he disappears again. He joins the elite counter bioterrorism force, and then he comes back in Resident Evil Village. Or sorry, RE7. He comes back at the end, but then he's like a playable character in Resident Evil Village. And then I hear the new Resident Evil is going to be like all the legacy characters. So Chris is going to return, I believe, in Resident Evil 9, Resident Evil Apocalypse. So I'm going to rank Chris as an S tier because he's simply too important to the story. He's one of the main characters of the whole entire story. Next up, we're gonna rank Luis Serra from RE4. Luis, he's not really involved too much in the game. He has a couple cutscenes. He is a cool character, but he's not really. I don't know. He's not like super important to the game. I don't know. I'm gonna rank Luis as an F because he's not like important to the game. Honestly, like, forget about this guy until I play the Resident Evil 4. Next up, we have William Birkin. William Birkin, the original G-Virus guinea pig. This guy was a scientist. He created the G-Virus. Once Umbrella went to take it from him, he injected himself with the G-Virus, and that's how he became mutated. He is the main final boss of Resident Evil 2. And so he's a great boss fight. I would definitely rank William as a B character for sure. Next up, we have Marvin Branagh. He is the guy that helps Leon and Claire in Resident Evil 2. He's one of the policemen of Raccoon City, and he's a pretty good character, but not much is known about him. I'm going to place him as a C tier character because he's not like that important, I guess. Excuse me. Next up, we're going to rank Mr. X. Mr. X is one of my favorite villains. I like how he follows you throughout the police station in Raccoon City and RE2. I'm going to rank him as an A character because his boss fight is simply amazing. Next up, we have Ashley Graham. Man, this one's tough. Ashley Graham is like, I guess the only part of Resident Evil 4 that I didn't like was having to babysit Ashley Graham. I didn't like that. I kind of want to go off on my own, and she's always getting attacked, and you always have to give her like all your green herbs and everything. I didn't really care for Ashley Graham. She was like a big baby. And so I'm gonna rank her as an F character. Next up, we have Brad Vickers from Resident Evil 3. He's one of the STARS members. He's not that important. I'm going to rank him as an F. He just not really, they didn't really focus on him a lot. Next up, we have Ramon Salazar from Resident Evil 4 Castle. This guy sold his family members out to let Lord Sadler dig up the Las Plagas to create the Las Plagas virus in Resident Evil 4. He disgraced his family, which is very sad. His boss fight is pretty good, but not great. I'm going to rank him as a C character. Next up, we have his boss, his former boss, Lord Sadler. Lord Sadler was an amazing boss fight. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to rank him as an A tier. It was a really great boss fight. He is the final boss of Resident Evil 4. He mutates into this crazy looking like spider thing. It's super cool. Definitely love that fight. Next up, we have Zoe Baker from RE7. I did remember her too much. That's how I'm going to rank her as an F. She's uneventful. Next up, we have the Merchant from Resident Evil 4. I like the Merchant better than the Duke. I like that you could shoot him at Resident Evil 4, which was cool. I'm going to rank him higher than the Duke as B1 tier. Next up, we have Krauser. Krauser worked with Leon in the lead up to Resident Evil 4. They were in the jungle. They were looking for the Code Veronica virus that was sold. Wesker took Steve Burnside's body from Code Veronica, and he extracted the Code Veronica virus from that, and he sold it to a drug lord in South America. So Krauser and Leon were sent to retrieve it. And other than that, he's not really involved in the story, so I'm going to rank him as a C tier. Next up, we have Nikolai from Resident Evil 3. Nikolai, a backstabber, not a good character. I'm going to rank him as an F. Next up, we have Rosemary Winters from Resident Evil Village. I'm going to rank her as, well, she has her own DLC now in the new Village. It's pretty good. I'm going to rank her as a B character because she seems pretty cool. I like her powers and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to do that. Next up, we have her dad, Ethan Winters. Ethan's a really good character. I liked his story. I really enjoyed it. It kind of sucks that they killed him off after Village. I would have liked to see more Ethan. I thought he was a really good protagonist. I'm going to rank him as an A. Next up, we have Hunk from Resident Evil 2. Hunk, excuse me, awesome character. I'm going to rank him as a B character. He's super fun to play. Next up, we have Barry Burton from Resident Evil 1. Barry is a good character. You don't get to play him though. I'm going to rank him as a C. Next up, we have Evelyn, the boss of Resident Evil 7. That wasn't I didn't enjoy that boss fight very much. I'm going to rank her as C. Next up, we have Claire Valentine. Claire, one of my favorite all-time characters from Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil Code Veronica. I'm going to rank Claire as S tier. Next up, we have Rebecca Chambers from Resident Evil 0. Rebecca Chambers. Let's see. So Rebecca, I'm going to rank her as B because she is Not that important and uneventful. Sherry Birkin from RE2. Looks like she grew up in this photo. I'm going to rank her as a C. Not that important. Jake Mueller from Resident Evil 6. I'm going to rank him as a F. Excuse me, because I don't really know too much about him. Annette Birkin from Resident Evil 2. Rank her as an F. I don't really know her too much. Not much is known about her. Let's see, who do we got? The daughters from Resident Evil Village. I thought they were really fun. I'm going to rank them as a B. I like how they followed you around the castle. I thought that was pretty cool. Lucas Baker from Resident Evil 7. I'm going to rank him as a C. It was kind of boring. Marguerite was cool. I liked her boss fight. I'm going to rank her as a B. And the husband, right? Jack Baker. I thought he was a really good character. I'm going to rank him as B tier. Foster Moreau from Resident Evil Village. I thought he was a little whiny crybaby. I'm going to rank him as C. Next up we have Hunnigan. Not too fond of her. F. She's kind of just like a little, I don't know, I guess a little person that comes on every once in a while. Helena from RE6. I didn't like her, so F. Excelania from RE5. F. Was not that important. Donna Biento. I'm going to rank her as a C. Her boss fight was the weakest out of Resident Evil Village. Jessica Sherwa, F. I don't remember her. Parker Lusana, I don't remember him much. Piers, I don't remember him much. F. Maura Burton, C. And last but not least, Jill Valentine, the main protagonist from RE3. Uh-oh, did I put her as an F? Sorry guys, I meant to put her, Jill, as an S. So there you have it guys, my Resident Evil character tier list. Please let me know in the comments if you agree with my tier list, if there was someone else that should have been S tier. Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Peace.